Picture this. You're flying over the Atlantic, the sky is clear, your instruments are working, and the radio crackles to life with one final message. We can't tell which way is down. The water is the wrong color. Everything looks strange. Then, silence. No wreckage, no bodies, no explanation. This isn't a movie. This actually happened, just off the coast of Florida, in a stretch of ocean that has swallowed over 1,000 people and counting. It's called the Bermuda Triangle, and what's hiding inside it might be far stranger than anyone wants to admit. Let's start with where this place actually is. The Bermuda Triangle is a roughly triangular patch of the western North Atlantic Ocean. Draw a line from Miami, Florida, up to the island of Bermuda, then down to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and back to Miami. That triangle covers about 500,000 square miles of open sea. It's not marked on any official map. No government recognizes it as a real boundary. And yet, for nearly a century, ships, planes, and entire crews have been disappearing inside it at a rate that makes pilots whisper and sailors change their routes. The legend really begins in 1492 with Christopher Columbus. According to his own journal, as he sailed through the area, his compass started spinning wildly. He saw a strange ball of fire crash into the sea, and a mysterious light flickered on the horizon with no land in sight. Columbus brushed it off. But over the next 400 years, sailors kept reporting the same things. Compasses going haywire, strange lights, sudden fogs that appeared from nowhere and swallowed entire ships. Something about this stretch of water was different, and people were starting to notice. Fast forward to December 5th, 1945. This is the disappearance that turned the Bermuda Triangle from sailor superstition into a worldwide phenomenon. 5 U.S. Navy bombers known as Flight 19 took off from Fort Lauderdale on a routine training mission. 14 experienced airmen, perfect weather. 2 hours in, the flight leader radioed that something was wrong. He couldn't see land. His compass was malfunctioning. The ocean, he said, looked strange. Then he uttered the now famous words, "We are entering white water. We are completely lost." After that, nothing. All 5 planes vanished. And here's where it gets worse. The Navy launched a massive rescue mission. They sent out a Mariner flying boat, a 13-man crew specifically built for long-range search operations. 20 minutes after takeoff, the Mariner also vanished. No mayday call, no wreckage, no debris, no bodies. In a single afternoon, 6 aircraft and 27 men disappeared into thin air. The official Navy report listed the cause as reasons or causes unknown. Think about that. The United States Navy, in 1945, with all its technology, officially gave up trying to explain what happened. That's when the world started asking the same terrifying question. What is actually happening out there? The disappearances didn't stop with Flight 19. In 1948, a passenger plane called Star Tiger vanished with 31 people aboard. The next year, its sister plane Star Ariel disappeared in the same area. In 1963, the massive freighter SS Marine Sulphur Queen, 524 feet long, simply ceased to exist somewhere off the Florida coast. 39 crew members gone. In 2015, the cargo ship El Faro sank in the triangle during Hurricane Joaquin, taking 33 lives. The pattern doesn't care about decades. It doesn't care about technology. It keeps happening. So what's the explanation? Scientists have been trying to crack this for decades, and they have theories. A lot of theories. The first and most popular is methane gas. Deep beneath the Bermuda Triangle's seafloor are massive deposits of frozen methane called methane hydrates. Occasionally, these pockets rupture and release enormous bubbles of gas that race to the surface. When a ship sails over one of these bubbles, the density of the water drops dramatically. The ship loses buoyancy, and in seconds it sinks straight down like a stone, leaving no debris, no oil slick, nothing. But methane doesn't explain the planes. So scientists turn to the sky. Meteorologists discovered that the Bermuda Triangle sits at a unique atmospheric crossroads. Hexagonal cloud formations have been spotted over the region, some up to 50 miles wide. These clouds act like air bombs, generating microbursts of wind that can hit 170 miles per hour. A plane flying through one wouldn't just be knocked off course. It would be slammed into the ocean before the pilot could react. Combine that with sudden rogue waves up to 100 feet tall, and you have a perfect killing field hidden in plain sight. Then there's the magnetic anomaly theory. The Bermuda Triangle is one of only 2 places on Earth where a compass points to true north instead of magnetic north. That sounds small, but for sailors and pilots relying on instruments, even a few degrees of error can send you hundreds of miles off course. You think you're heading, you're actually flying deeper into open ocean. By the time you realize, you're out of fuel, and the Atlantic is a very, very big place to crash. And then there's the Gulf Stream. This is a powerful ocean current that flows directly through the Bermuda Triangle at speeds of up to 5.5 miles per hour. If a plane crashes or a ship sinks here, the wreckage doesn't stay put. It gets carried hundreds of miles away within hours. Bodies, debris, fuel slicks, everything gets swept into the deep Atlantic, where depths reach 27,000 feet. That's nearly 5 miles straight down. Search teams looking in the obvious place find absolutely nothing, because the evidence is already gone. Okay, so we have methane, hexagonal clouds, magnetic anomalies, the Gulf Stream, rogue waves. That should be enough, right? Mystery solved. Except it isn't, because none of those theories explain the weirdest reports. Pilots who survived close calls describe a glowing electronic fog that wraps around their aircraft. Their instruments freeze. Time seems to slow down. One pilot, Bruce Gernon, claims he flew through a tunnel of clouds in 1970 and arrived at his destination 30 minutes earlier than physically possible. His plane, he says, simply skipped through time and space. Then there are the fringe theories, the ones official science refuses to touch. Some believe the Bermuda Triangle hides the lost city of Atlantis, and that ancient crystal energy generators beneath the seafloor are still active, scrambling modern technology when they fire. Others claim it's a portal, a tear in the fabric of reality where ships and planes slip into another dimension. And then there's the UFO theory, fueled by the fact that the region has more documented, unidentified aerial sightings than almost anywhere else on Earth. Are these explanations crazy? Maybe. But after 100 years of disappearances, can we really rule anything out? Skeptics push back hard. In 1975, a researcher named Larry Kushi published a book that picked apart the Bermuda Triangle legend piece by piece. He went back to original sources, newspaper reports, weather records, and Coast Guard files. His conclusion? Many of the famous disappearances had been exaggerated, mislocated, or even completely fabricated by writers trying to sell books. Some ships that supposedly vanished in calm weather were actually caught in massive storms. Some that supposedly disappeared in the Triangle actually sank thousands of miles away. The mystery, he argued, was manufactured. And the insurance companies agree. Lloyd's of London, one of the world's biggest maritime insurers, has stated publicly that ships traveling through the Bermuda Triangle are no more likely to disappear than ships in any other heavily traveled stretch of ocean. The U.S. Coast Guard echoes this. Statistically, they say, the Triangle is no more dangerous than the rest of the Atlantic. Heavy traffic plus unpredictable weather equals incidents. That's the boring answer. But here's the question. If the Triangle really is just an ordinary patch of ocean, why does it keep generating extraordinary stories? Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe the Bermuda Triangle is a place where ordinary natural forces, methane bubbles, freak storms, magnetic quirks, and deep currents all stack on top of each other in ways we don't fully understand. A perfect storm of geography and chance. But maybe it's also something we're not ready to admit. Because every year, ships still vanish, planes still go quiet, and the ocean still gives back nothing. As recently as 2017, a small private plane carrying 4 people disappeared over the Triangle. No wreckage was ever found. So what would you do? Would you fly over the Bermuda Triangle? Would you book that Caribbean cruise that cuts right through the heart of it? Millions of people do, every single year. Most of them arrive at their destination without incident. They take their photos, they sip their drinks. They never know how close they came to whatever it is that lurks below. Because the truth about the Bermuda Triangle isn't that it always swallows you, it's that it might. And no scientist, no insurance company, no government can promise you which trip will be the one that doesn't come back. The Bermuda Triangle is more than a mystery. It's a reminder that for all our satellites, our radar, our GPS, and our science, there are still places on this planet that refuse to be fully understood. Places where the rules seem to bend, where experienced pilots get lost, where massive ships dissolve into nothing, where the most powerful navies on Earth shrug and write, "Cause unknown." If you enjoyed this episode of Geography Exposed, hit that subscribe button, because the next location we uncover is even stranger. Somewhere out there, a compass is spinning, and someone is about to disappear.